you see all of those inline shops with a restaurant on the end cap, and Marshall's is going to be on the other end cap. And then just as this building over here that has Mod Pizza, Crumble, Jimmy John's, and ATI has multiple tenants, this other building under construction is another multi-tenant building where you can expect several more shops to join the Maricopa family.
Wow, that's an incredibly expansive addition to our community. It's a very exciting time to be a resident of Maricopa. Hey, for more information on what's new and coming here in your community, check out what'snewmaricopa.com.
Two-year-old Mia Preston is the picture of unbridled joy.
Oh, that's pretty. It's so pretty. Swimming.
This picture shows Mia gliding with an ear-to-ear grin during her first swim lesson. It's an image Mia's mother can cherish forever, especially when she compares it against the one taken just 43 days earlier.
They say it takes 21 seconds for a child to go unconscious in the water.
For Mia, those seconds of misfortune happened while her family was on vacation. She was playing with her siblings when, in a moment of distraction, Mia slipped out a back door and fell into the pool.
She basically drowned. My husband had to pull her out of the pool and administered CPR.
Mia's father continued that CPR for over 20 minutes until paramedics arrived and got Mia's heart beating again on its own. But Mia's battle was just beginning. She would spend 9 days in the ICU, 9 days during which her parents not only didn't know whether she'd survive, but also if she'd ever be the same.
Who's that? Yeah. Who's that, Mia? Who's that? Who's that?
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear.
Mushy bear. Should we open it? Run. They come back and hide.
Against the odds, Mia's condition improved, and miraculously, she's now on the road to a full recovery, a road that included a quick return to the water.
As soon as Mia got out of the hospital, the first thing I wanted to do was get her back into the water because she loved swimming, and we were really nervous that this accident would have prevented her from probably ever swimming again.
The more frequent outcome is a story that's become far too familiar for Arizona families, and one the city of Maricopa is determined to rewrite with a program called Maricopa Swims Safe in the Water.
The Maricopa Swim Safe in the Water program is designed for kids, and essentially the purpose of that is to start teaching kids at an early age how to be able to assist themselves in the instance that they fall into the water.
Suspended during the pandemic, the program is now making a comeback. Participating elementary schools bus first graders to Copper Sky for their immersive classes.
This is 4 45-minute sessions. The first 10 minutes we go over talking about water safety and going through our Safety Ranger program. And then we spend the rest of the time in the water going from not being comfortable to put their face in the water to being able to jump in the deep end, float on their back, and get out of the water safely.
The goal is to eventually expand the program throughout the district and invite charter schools into the pool as well. In order to get there, the community has the chance to suit up.
We can't do it without instructors, and we pay pretty decent, and it's a lot of fun. You get a free Copper Sky membership. We can't do these programs without instructors, so I hope anybody seeing this that has 3 or 4 hours open in their morning or early afternoon could come by and learn how to be an instructor.
Knowing that what I'm doing is ultimately going to help them in the long run, there's no better feeling like it.
A feeling of satisfaction for instructors and a sense of security for families like the Prestons, who found in Mia's story a new conviction for these life-saving skills.
CPR certification and swim safety with lessons is like, that's all we could advocate. We'll use her platform and her story to sell that for the rest of our lives.
Swimming.
In case he pulls up.
Hold up! Go. Hey Maricopa, it's me, Sergeant Hal Kuzer. I'm here with my friends here at the police department. We've got a brand new tool that's going to help our officers out on the street and keep everybody safe. It's called a Bolo Wrap.
We're implementing Bolo Wrap for the first time at MPD. It's a new technology that doesn't use pain compliance to work. It prevents us from using taser, baton, pepper spray, which are pain compliance tools, and we're excited to be using it. It wraps around a person, takes a Kevlar cable with hooks on the end, kind of like Spider-Man, wraps a person up so they can't take a step, they can't move their arms, allows us to go in safely, take them into custody without hurting the suspect, without hurting the officer. Prevents us from having to take a person down to the ground, get into a scuffle. The thing with a bowler wrap that makes it unique is that it's completely different in shape and in size. It's not something that we're going to get mixed up. We know when we're holding on to this, we know it's not our gun, we know it's not our taser. We don't think officers are going to get this mixed up with a firearm or a taser. We update the training for the officers and for the instructors on a yearly basis. The officers today at MPD are going through operator training. They're doing practical scenarios, they do a written test, they do malfunction drills, they learn how to safely operate the unit and when they cannot use it. We wrap each other so we know how to deploy, we know what it feels like, we know how to deploy when a person is standing still, when they're walking. So we think that the officers are well trained and well equipped to go out and use this with confidence to safely take care of our public.
And that's a wrap.
Hey, I'm Nathan Oliet, Community Services Director for the City of Maricopa, and I'm here today at the first ever in the state of Arizona fitness court that was really brought to you in part, largely in part, by Global Water through one of their sponsorships. And we're just here today to talk about what an incredible thing it was that Global Water decided to do 3 years ago.
It's through sponsorships, especially with Global Water and their significant contribution, that we're able to really expand on the entertainment side of things and also on activities that are available. We've expanded from 3 signature events to 5. We added the Copa Glow, which is the hot air balloon festival. And also, we have an event that is coming up in just a few weeks, our multicultural event. And for example, we are able, based upon the generosity of Global Water and their sponsorship, we're able to bring in some entertainment acts. We've got Polynesian dancers lined up. We're working on some Congo and steel drum performances. So it's those types of things that those extra dollars help to not only expand the events, but bring more events and bring entertainment to those events.
We are the first city to have a recreational esports program. We won the 2020 Arizona Parks and Recs Association Award for Best Sports Program. Global Water's contribution gives us the funds to start this program, which we have over 400 unique players that have enrolled in the program so far. It also allowed us to switch to an online platform once the pandemic hit. So we were able, about 120 people signed up online, and they were able to participate in our online programming, and it was awesome. If there was a timing to prove the value of this program and the versatility, it was then. The pandemic hits, the coaches already were like, let's just switch it online. Within the next weekend, everybody else was locking down. We had 22 people in our tournament. It's a way for kids that are good at video games to be competitive at something they're good at, to meet friends with the same interest. I mean, I didn't meet any friends that play video games, but now you can, you know, and you can build those lasting relationships thanks to a program like this.
Rec and the Greenbelt is a Parks and Recreation trailer on wheels. Has an esports component, but also has a bunch of different Parks and Recreation games, up from Connect 4 to Frisbee toss. We have golf. We just have a bunch of different things offered in that. I do believe Rec and the Greenbelt did a great job connecting the community. We not only provided it here, but we connected with Maricopa Unified School District and our charters by providing this trailer at their schools and interacting with their students as well. Ever since we started the program about 2 years ago, I would have to say we had about 1,000 plus participants participate. Global Water was a huge contribution to youth teen and enrichment programs, and they helped us out a lot.
Maricopa Safe in the Swim program provided free swim lessons for 197 kids. And what was cool about this program, as we tracked the progress, we realized about 90% of them did not know how to swim, and time they were done, they were safer in the water. They can float, they can do some swimming, they could jump in the water, self-rescue themselves, get out of the water. This allowed opportunity for kids that not normally would be able to get to the pool to do swim lessons and things like that.
So today we're at Pecana Park, but we're actually standing here at the Fitness Court today, which is a national fitness campaign where they try to implement outdoor fitness courts in different areas to bring fitness closer to communities. I mean, fitness really shut down during the pandemic. For us to be able to continue to provide fitness activities to the community was huge. We definitely could not have done the Fitness Court without Global Water. It obviously gets really hot here in the summer, and Global Water, I mean, they directly contributed to the shade structure here of the fitness court. Now it's utilized 365 days a year. Also, the lovely decals that we have all around the fitness court as well was a direct contribution from Global Water. We could not have done any of that without them.
On our wall here, we have different sizes of stars that represent different amounts of donations, and Global Water is our largest star, our largest donor. Your contribution to the library here has allowed me to continue to do what I love to do, and it also helps us to enhance our programs by expanding the opportunities for more people to participate, having more staff involved in these programs or volunteers. And this allows us to reach more of our community. It makes you feel good when you hear this pleasant buzz in the library. It just makes me feel good to know that we do have people that are utilizing and gaining some type of skill or furthering their reading. Thank you, Global Water, for all that you've done to help support the library and our community, and we look forward to future opportunities with you.
Thank you guys, Global Water. We could not have done this fitness court without you. The city of Maricopa thanks you, and the community definitely thanks you as well.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Global Water. We couldn't have done it without you.
None of this would have been possible. None of these programs would have been possible without the support of Global Water and without their vision to want to do something in our community. So I'm super grateful. I know all of the participants that have been impacted by these programs and events are grateful for that opportunity, even if they don't even know Global Water's role in it. So thank you, Global Water, and we look forward to continued partnership with our community.
This is my friend. I love painting. That's my favorite medium. I gravitate towards them. I love paintings. I don't care what type it is. I like to look at them really close up, and it kind of drives people at the museum nuts because I'm the one with her face practically in the painting, but I love to see how they manipulated the brushstrokes and what the two colors are they mixed together that make, that flow and, is there texture to it. It started way back when I started painting on rocks. Rocks are easy to find. They're free, and I remember my mom and I would go down some riverbeds and we'd pick some out and I'd wash them and clean them, and there was a book that was like Painting on Rocks Volume 1. I was all about it. I got 2 and 3 and 4. And that's where the painting started. One of the things I enjoy the most is thinking you can't do something. Something's gonna be too difficult. Can I make that? And then just trying and working at it, and when you do it, it's uplifting and it's exciting and you feel strong and powerful and capable. And for me, there was just always that kind of tactile ability, but it wasn't always good. And it's something you just have to work at, and the more you work at it, you get better.
I don't know. You're the last one.
I even jogged in it. I jogged in 10 years.
Thank you for being here this evening, and welcome to the regular City Council meeting of April 4th. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. It is on. Are you having a hard time hearing me? Yeah. Okay. Need a little more volume. Any better? Not yet.
No, mine is off.
Hello, hello. Hello?
Yeah, not even working. Quinn, you're fired. Hey, it's working now. Is it? Hello?
All right. Are we better? Nope, not yet. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Now?
I got double mics. They gave me 2 mics. What a mistake is that? Look at that. I'm a hot mic no matter what happens. Nah.
Are we good now? Nope. They're saying no.
Testing. There you go.
Oh, what was that?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. See, mine's not working. There
All
it
right.
goes. Now
All
it's going.
right. Oh, that might be a little too loud. Woo! All right. I think yep, there we go. Okay. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to invite Pastor Andy Lockridge, which I was scanning yep, there he is. Thank you, Pastor. From the Church of Celebration to give the invocation, after which we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance given to us by Council Member Manfredi. So please rise if you're able.
Ready for the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Lockridge and Councilmember Manfredi. That'll take us to roll call.
Councilmember Gettle.
On time and present.
Councilmember Learman is here. Councilmember Manfredi.
Here.
Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Wade.
Here.
Vice Mayor Vidiello. Mayor Smith.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And that'll take us to proclamations. We have 3 items tonight. We have 2 proclamations and the MCLA Winter 2023 session acknowledgement. So some fun stuff tonight. So I'll come on down for the proclamations. So for the first proclamation, I'd like to invite up Anna Marie from Exceptional Healthcare. Welcome. Thank you. Whereas access to critical care within the city of Maricopa is vital to the health and well-being of our community, and close proximity to 24-hour health care resources increases the likelihood of positive health outcomes. And whereas expanding access to health services is an important step toward reducing health disparities, and the City of Maricopa welcomed Exceptional Community Hospital as the first hospital and 24/7 emergency room in December of 2021. And whereas Exceptional Community Hospital in Maricopa has treated over 20,000 patients since opening, providing quality, local, 24-hour health care within the city of Maricopa and allowing our citizens to stay close to home when they are sick or injured and in need of immediate treatment. And whereas countless lives have been saved due to the accessibility of critical care in our community. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Smith, Mayor of the City of Maricopa, do hereby proclaim the critical importance of providing healthcare emergency services within the city and acknowledge this milestone of treating over 20,000 patients in our community and the positive impact of exceptional community health to the overall health and safety of our residents. All right, this next one is a fun one as well. It's for our police volunteer appreciation. And so I'd like to invite all those that volunteer to come on up. It looks like a whole bunch of you.
Oh my.
And my note here says that Jim is your designated speaker. Where is Jim? Oh, there you are. Very good. You guys look great. You look great. Love it. Come on in. We're going to have to get a picture eventually, so yeah. Well, afterwards we'll
Hey,
get
Tommy.
it, Jim. Okay, whereas United Communities help to inspire, equip, and mobilize volunteers to perform services that help to transform their city, state, nation, indeed, and world. Whereas during this week and every other day and week throughout the year, all over the nation, service projects will be performed by volunteers who are committed to making a difference. Whereas the City of Maricopa Police Department wishes to recognize the VIPs, Volunteers in Police Service, who make a difference by assisting the department in support services, operations, and community services. And whereas in 2022, over 50 volunteers contributed over 9,100 hours of their time to the City of Maricopa Police Department. This is an equivalent of over 4 full-time employees, saving the city more than $272,000. And whereas these volunteers give freely of their time, talents, and energy and ask for nothing in return beyond the support of our city and our police department, and whereas the City of Maricopa takes great pride in honoring all volunteers in our community, and it's fitting to recognize them. Now, I therefore, Nancy Smith, Mayor of the City of Maricopa, do hereby proclaim the week of April 16th to the 22nd, 2023 as Volunteer Appreciation Week. Our city will proudly shine a light on the people that inspire others to serve and who help make the City of Maricopa a very special place. Please give them applause. Go ahead and speak first because they're coming. The City Council's coming down.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to be able to say something, but I'll make it short. But I don't want to make it that short for one main reason, is that every volunteer that we have, it gives of their time freely. One of our jokes over at headquarters, when they say, well, can I get that pay increase? Or can you double my overtime? There's even some people that I spoke to today that said, no, I don't want to go tonight. I don't want to go for a proclamation tonight because I don't want to be acknowledged. I don't think I have a need to be acknowledged. And Mardell, where's Mardell? Mardell over here. Is Jay with us? Okay. Mardell is one of our coordinators who twisted a couple arms out of love to get people here so we have the opportunity tonight to be able to say thank you to everyone who volunteers. There's fire volunteers. These are our special group of volunteers that I have the honor of overseeing, even though I think they oversee me most of the time, to tell you the truth. But let me just give a brief snapshot of some of the work that the volunteers do. In operations, and Jay Cook is not here tonight, but in operations, there's COPS, or Citizens on Patrol, House Watch, community enhancement programs. If you ever see those orange stickers on cars, that's part of the education program about parking in the city of Maricopa. If you ever see them, you can thank the cops. Fleet, transporting vehicles, motorcycles, and radios to Phoenix, Chandler, and Tucson for maintenance. Radar, the speed radar trailers, we have 4 of them, get deployed every week by volunteers in all different locations for one main reason: to make the city safer. They have people slow down to make the city safer. Park Patrol at Copper Sky to look for and report graffiti, report unusual activity to dispatch, and other unwelcome activities to keep our Copper Sky safer. Support services that Mardell oversees. Some of the administrative services, misdemeanor fingerprints, QA archives, filing, mail, QA citations, court log, monthly NCIC validations, Spillman duplicate name searches. May not mean much to any of you, but it's a lot. I assure you it's quite a bit. Assistance to recruiting process, court filing, property and evidence, front desk assistance, courier to municipal court, county court, and dispatch. All the events that the city has, the people standing behind me and fire are asked to volunteer and to help out too. Set up and staff the MPD booth at city events, set up and staff the MPD requested events to support task force events. It would be Veterans Day, traffic control, DUI checkpoint, road closure, parking lot control. They assist in a variety of projects and officer training. YANA, the You Are Not Alone program, which started in 2015 with volunteers that called mostly shut-ins for many of these people that don't have relatives, don't have family here in the city, and the YANA callers are their family. It's a phenomenal program that has saved lives. There's no two ways to say it. It has saved lives. We also have with us Rod, who is our volunteer chaplain. Rod has been with Victim Assistance Program since 2009, 2010, who responds to something that unfortunately we're going to have more of, what we call the dead body calls and also death notifications. Rod's available 24/7, and he's one of a few that we have. But I just want to say I am honored to oversee this group, to lead this group, even though they really don't need leading with great people that do it already. But I'm proud to be a part of this, and I know our volunteers are making our city safer, they're making it more beautiful, and they just want your support. So thank you for everything, too.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
right. Well, we're going to move on next to the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy graduation. So council staying down here so they can grab a picture. But real quick, I'm going to go through some details about what our Maricopa Citizens Leadership Academy was. This is the first time we've done this since 2019. So we took a COVID break and we're back, and we had a lot of people very interested in it and ended up on a waiting list. So this was our 21st session. We had 341 total graduates over the whole time of the program that we've been doing it, and 14 new graduates that we'll get to honor here tonight. The graduation requirements for the participants, they had to attend 3 out of the 4 classes that we presented and attend a city council meetings. This is counting for some of them, board or committee or commission meeting, or do a community service project, which we had one participant do that. So that was a neat add this year. The topics they oversaw or that they got to learn about was Maricopa history, local government 101, public safety, our development process, regional issues, economic development, and they got to hear from each of our council members and the mayor as well when they were going through the classes. So a neat experience for them to go through and get to know a lot of the details about how we do what we do and why we do it that way. So without further ado, we will announce the graduates, and I have a list here, so I will, when I call your name, if you can come up to the front, and I'll pull this around, it'll be easier. So when I call your name, if you can come to the front, I will give you a certificate, and then you can go through and shake everybody's hand, and if you can stay up here till the end, so we can get a picture of you, we would appreciate that. And if we can all hold our applause to the end, that would be great too, so we'll get through it. So our first graduate is Dawn Bick. Or we can clap. Our next graduate is Annette Lucas. Sharon Walker. Dominic Misedzewski. Molly Spence. Candace White. Candace is also an intern with the city of Maricopa, so yeah, big thanks to her. Matt Garnett. Susan Baswante. Crystal Ojan. Kent Ojan. Shannon Kleinjans. Charlene Dodson. Randy Dodson. Kendall Haley. Charles Green. Councilmember Eric Gettle. Paul Bick. And Jenny Miller. All right, yeah, congratulations everybody. We'll get together for a pic. Yes, you're right, group applause. everybody goes back to their seats, I do have a plug. We'll do this again in the fall, so please look to our website, our Facebook page for any updates on when that starts. We have had a wait list, so as soon as you see it, it's kind of first come, first serve, so please sign up. And Quinn Knold and his team put this together, so a big thanks for them. Quinn couldn't be here tonight, but it was his team and Abel and some of the other folks here who put it together, so thank you to them, and please reach out to Quinn if you have any questions, but thank you so much.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to attend the first night, and some of the questions were just phenomenal coming from the attendees, and I'm glad we had the answers, but it was a lot of fun and just a really great way to communicate. So I appreciate all of you who attended and encourage you that have not to consider the fall session, because it's really quite the opportunity to interact with everyone. So I appreciate what has happened here tonight in terms of these graduations. That'll take us to the report from the mayor. At this time, I'll turn it over to our council. Anyone? Yes, Councilmember Learman.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank Joan Kojar for inviting me to the senior meeting at the Community Center on March 10th. I met several seniors there who are really excited about multi-housing continuing to come to Maricopa, as single-family unit homes are not meeting their current needs. And that was a good conversation that I had. I also wanted to just share a few highlights from our trip to Washington, D.C. On March 28th, we had 8 meetings, and those meetings included Congressman Gosar, Congressman Statton, Congressman Gallego, Congressman Eli Crane, Mark Kelly's office, and Kristen Sinema's office. They're really productive conversations about 347 and bringing Maricopa out of the floodplain. My favorite meeting of the day was with Arlando Teller, the Deputy Secretary of Tribal Relations for the U.S. Department of Transportation, who is very familiar with 347 and 238. He gave us lots of good information and insight, and we had just a really productive meeting with him. I would be remiss not to talk about Mayor Smith's excellent job that she did communicating the needs on your behalf and being your voice for the city of Maricopa. The Vice Mayor and all the council members there, we want you to know that we represented you well with passion and sincerity. A lot of information was shared and communicated very well, and I think that you were heard on that day. And so I just wanted to share what an excellent job the mayor did and vice mayor, and we tried to represent you the best that we could.
All right, Councilmember Marsh.
I had a busy 2 weeks. It started with March 6th through March 8th. I attended and participated in a smart water workshop put on by the Sonora Institute and the Babbitt Institute. Some of you older Arizonans might remember Bruce Babbitt. He was a former governor. The smart water workshop was attended by participants from about a dozen cities around the state. Each city had a team, and Maricopa had the best team. Our team consisted of people from planning, people from Global Water, and me. And we were challenged to come up with a project that we could do in our city, and challenged to take it home and make it happen, make it real. Now, a lot of cities in Arizona have bad water. They don't have the aquifer we have. I think we have the best aquifer in the state. It's the biggest, it's the deepest, and it's the best quality water. I really feel bad for some of those cities. So the number one project we came up with was based on the fact that early developers here in Maricopa planted turf, grass, in flood basins and parks in order to sell desert land to people from Minnesota. And they left HOAs saddled with the burden of watering that grass. And I don't know if you know it. If you're not on an HOA board, you might not know it. I am. And we paid $85,000 last year to water our turf. And we're about the smallest HOA in Maricopa. So the project we took on was turf reduction. So we're going to bring it to the planning department, to the city manager, and eventually to city council to work with HOAs to do turf reduction projects, taking decorative turf that's non-productive, that's not a play space for kids, and removing it from turf and turning it into desert landscaping. We'd like to propose putting a demonstration tract in or near Copper Sky to show how pretty desert landscaping can be, so all us folks from up north can learn how pretty the desert can be when it's properly landscaped and uses almost zero water. So on the 10th of March, I met with Colt Homan. He's the Maricopa Fire Department union leader, and we got vision aligned. I learned what he's up to and what he's planning to do this coming year. He seems smart. He seems to have his head on straight, and I do support him. On the 13th, I attended the Planning and Zoning Commission. On the 14th, the Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority Board, we met, and we discussed issues and the bills that are before the legislature on water. On the 16th, I attended the Desert Cedars HOA Board meeting, and I told them a little bit about the turf reduction project. On the 17th, I attended the Lunch and Learn for seniors in the community center, where we learned about trusts, wills, and other end-of-life stuff that's important to seniors. On the 21st, I met with Rick Horst. It was a 30-minute meeting. It lasted 90 minutes. I think we tried to solve all the problems of Maricopa. Then while the rest of council went to Washington, D.C. to meet with our lobbyists, reps, and senators, I took some time to work on some eye and heart issues and spent 10 days in 2 hospitals. My last IVs were taken out at 3 p.m. today. And so I'm here, a wounded warrior, but I'm back. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marsh. Councilmember Wade.
Good evening. It's good to see you all here, and glad you stayed after the acknowledgments. Appreciate that very much. I just wanted to add a little bit to what Councilmember Learman said about our attending to D.C. It was fast and furious, particularly for me, in that I came in to participate in speaking to our legislators, our folks that we look forward to help us. It was some really great meetings, 8, as she said, 8 meetings. And I, too, was impressed by the meeting that we had with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. I felt embraced. I think that's really important. He embraced us and what we're trying to do to our community to help us with our community, and that is reaching out beyond our community. So it was really great. Then I was on a plane back here to, I hate to say this, Dancing for Our Stars. It was a wonderful event where we supported the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Sun Corridor. It was almost a little over 500 people in attendance. It was the community event of the year, absolutely. Fortunately.
Don't say it.
Okay, I'm not going to say it. So there was a little wager, if you will, between Casa Grande and Maricopa. And what they did is they assaulted our group, so we lost a couple of people. We couldn't get. Oh, that's suggesting that we can get any more money. Anyway, over $175,000 was raised for the Sun Corridor once we go through. It was, as I said, a wonderful event with families involved. The young folks were involved in the. I had a young dancing group behind mine. I needed it because I wasn't doing so good. They were doing great, but it was a wonderful event, and the fact that we raised money for the Boys and Girls Club is even better. And there's more things on the horizon for Boys and Girls Clubs that will probably be shared with you as we go along. That's the gist of what I want to say.
Very good. Thank you, Councilmember Wade. And Councilmember Gettle.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just, again, thank you for everything that's already been shared, and it was a great trip to D.C. We had some very productive meetings there. I just have a piece of information. There's a lot of our families here in Maricopa. We have various challenges, all of us, and some of us are blessed with individuals in our households that have some special needs. My family being one of those, and looking for resources, especially being distanced from, the Metro Valley sometimes can be a little bit difficult. It was brought to my attention that our Gila River Indian community, just our neighbors to our north, secured a grant that would help provide some classes for parents with children who are on the spectrum with autism. So I wanted to just drop that information here for you, anybody who might be interested. The center who's providing the training, the acronym is SARC, Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, SARRC. And their website is autismcenter.org/free training 2022. And there's three different types of classes there for parents depending on the age of the child in your household. So very good resources to get involved with, and hopefully that'll be of benefit to some of us here in the audience today. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Gettle. Councilmember Manfredi?
I don't do as, is that working? Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I haven't done as much as Bob down there with the hospital and everything. Jeez, makes me feel inferior, man. Let's see. Today I spent the day at the Capitol regarding a couple bills that we have running, HB 2543, HB 2063, and HB 2449. Each of those bills impacts Maricopa in different ways. HB 2543 is a $311 million funding program that's for rural transportation. So it's throughout the state, right? But I serve on RTAC, which is the Rural Transportation Advisory Committee, Council, sorry. And we're looking for $311 million in one-time funding from the state. And the greatest thing about it is we take the Maricopa model of getting funding into this bill. So we're asking for $311 million with over $400 million as a local match to it. So it's hard for the legislature to say no to things like that. So it passed today in appropriations 10-0, so nobody against us. And I don't know if you know anything about the legislature, but something that bipartisan is almost unheard of. It came out of the House at, I think it was 50-0, I think it was. So nobody voting against it. This is just common sense stuff. For the city of Maricopa, what it does is it provides over about $11 million for Maricopa-Casa Grande highway improvements from Burris Road to Anderson Road. It provides $3,200,000 for green road improvements. That's that new overpass we're looking at doing at Green Road, a little bit west on the 238. Distribution to Maricopa for another $3.2 million for Rancho El Dorado Parkway Bridge construction. That's raising the road around Rancho El Dorado so that people don't get stuck every time it rains. And of course, distribution to Maricopa for the Sonoran Desert Parkway for another $3.2 million. So these are important things that are within that bill. So it was great to be up there and listen and get involved. The hard part was the meeting started at about 1 o'clock, and by I think it was 3:40 or so, I had to leave to rush down here for a council meeting. So I didn't get to testify, but we had 5 people testify, and of course, 10-0. 2063 is a little different. That's money that was allocated last year in our budget for the 238 and the 347 improvements. So what this bill does is allows us to allocate the money differently. So we're moving some of that money to the 238 to finish some of that work that's over there. And then, of course, HB 2449, which is probably not many people have heard of it. It's about $9 million for the Sonoran Desert Parkway or East-West Corridor in the Casa Grande region. So it's picking up after we finish our section. That's going to pick up and including the money inside of the HB 2543, the Sonoran Desert Parkway or the East-West Corridor, whatever you want to call it, either or works for me. We're looking at making sure that's funded. So when people say that after it gets out of Maricopa, it's going to die, it's not, hopefully. We're working on getting funding to make sure it doesn't die at Maricopa city limits. Other than that, I had a meeting for Central Arizona Government's Regional Council where we, again, talked about more transportation issues and other things impacting the region. But it's been a crazy week for the legislature and just making sure that we're getting more, or we're getting out of the legislature what we're putting in terms of our taxes that we pay in the city and getting it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manfredi. Vice Mayor Vidiello?
Thank you. First of all, hello everybody. It's been a long time, and thank you for showing up. So Amber and Eric and Henry did a great job about DC. So while we were there, we have meetings with our congressmen and senators, and it was great. And what it's all about is, I had somebody ask me, why do you go? Why do you spend the money to go there? Well, it took 15 years, and past and present council members and mayors, to get an overpass. 15 years to get that little overpass. So could you imagine how long the past and present have been working to get 347 fixed? And they said, it's never going to get fixed. And I said, with that attitude, you're right. Your attitude is not what we want to hear in Maricopa. We want people from Maricopa to talk positive about something that 76% of Maricopians drive out of here every single day, okay? It's super important that when you leave, you come back. So it's important to all of us up here to make sure that you go out of town and come back safe. So we're never going to give up on the 347, and that's why we go there, because when we need $300+ million to fix a road, that's what it takes. It's called the Maricopa Way, and that's what they say at the Capitol, that's what they say over in DC. Do it the way the people from Maricopa do it, which means we need your voice constantly. When we put something out on Facebook, respond to it nicely. You get more with honey than you do with vinegar. So when we posted it out there, we had something like 203 people send nice letters, and what was it, a few days later we got, $11 million or something like that? So the bottom line is that we need your help, because we're 7 voices, but we're 70-something thousand voices that will get stuff done in this city. So, and then there's one more little thing. It's Amber's birthday today. We did not get a cake, but what we could do for her is sing happy birthday. So please join me in singing happy birthday to Amber. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amber. Happy birthday to you. 22. Yay! Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I just want to add a little bit more flavor to the DC Hill trip, just to give you a little bit of the specifics. So you know that our #1 talk was on State Route 347, and that went over very well. All of them indicated that when we're ready to actually submit a proposal for State Route 347 widening, that they are on board for supporting that through their appropriations. So we found that to be very fantastic. One point there on State Route 347, as Councilmember Wade indicated, we did talk to U.S. Department of Transportation, the Native American liaison, and got some great ideas on how to partnership with our Indian communities in regards to that funding as well. So I really appreciate his suggestions. It was very valuable. It was really a lot of fun. We talk about 8-minute meetings. 2 of those meetings were in the hallway. So that's how fast things are happening in DC. 2 of them, one was planned for the hallway. One was, Congressman Siscomani was just passing by, and our lobbyist knows him well and said, "Congressman, please come over here and meet the mayor." And so I shook his hand and said, "Thank you very much. I know you're busy, but when you have time, we'd love to talk to you about what our priorities are." And he said, "Mayor, you got me now. Give me 3 minutes." So I whipped out my paper and started flipping through the State Route 347 information and had a meeting right there that we didn't even have on our calendar. So it's really quite fascinating. And then another thing I'm really amazed with, or actually very impressed and thankful for, is Senator Kelly called me today and said, "Mayor, did you get everything out of that meeting that you needed?" And I affirmed him that yes, we did. What we asked for, they were in support of. And so very nice for the senator to actually call the cities back and say, "Did you get what you were looking for?" We also talked, this I'll talk briefly on, we talked regarding the FEMA CLOMAR, and that's basically just a CLOMAR submittal that we put in about 2 years ago, and we're looking for that to be finalized. And that takes a significant amount of land within the city of Maricopa out of the floodplain. And so that's important to us, and we're looking to get that document approved. We had complete success in getting their support. In fact, they talked about unifying together and writing a letter to get that going. And then some appropriation requests that we had that are much smaller. One thing I want to tell you about in talking about transportation is I had asked ADOT, how do I get better communication on when State Route 347 goes down, whether it's for a collision, whether it's for some incident that happened, but it's closed and it's closed for hours. How do I let my citizens know that in advance before they get on it? And they were talking to me about the message boards that are on I-10, and that I now know that for the Sunday accident that unfortunately took 2 lives, that ADOT placed the road closure on those message boards. So that'll help significantly. But then also Brad Patassi Chief Patassi brought up AZ 511, and he says, Mayor, this works great. And so I had to try it. It's not an app. It's actually something where you go to az511.com, and you can actually say, here's my route. So let me give you an example. I said, my route is from Chandler, Arizona to Maricopa, and then from Maricopa to Chandler. Those are my 2 routes. And I can tell it to tell me when there's a collision, a closure, an incident, or I can also set a threshold that says traffic on 347 now exceeds the normal time, which is 27 minutes, and you can set that threshold for, and I set mine for 40 minutes. Tell me when it's over 40 minutes to go in either of those directions. And it works like a gem. And it comes to your text message or your email. I found the email, I tried both of them, I found the email to be a little annoying, so I stopped that. But coming to my phone, personally, because that's the route I set up. So I encourage you all, go check out az511.com. It works like a gem. Thank you, Chief Patassi, and thank you, ADOT. They also worked with me to get more clarification on that. Our assistant, Marlene Pierce, also serves on the board for United Way. And she contacted me and she said, Mayor, there's a program that United Way offers that gives children 0 to 5 years old 1 book free every month delivered to your home. And she said the sad thing is that in the city of Maricopa, only 50 people are taking advantage of that. In the city of Casa Grande, nearly 700. So I'm like, oh, let me do something about this. So I wanted to share that with you. I also have it on my Facebook if you're interested in how to go about getting that for your children. But 1 book a month from age 0 to 5 for free, offered through United Way. So take advantage of that. And then lastly, something fun for me, just this week, I was appointed to the Arizona League Executive Board. So I'm excited about that and look forward to serving the city of Maricopa on the board. So given that, that's the end of our report from the council and mayor. Yes? Okay. All right. Thank you. 2 things that people handed me, so if I don't get it perfect, that one I'll get perfect. There is the senior prom held April 13th from 5 to 8 p.m. for seniors. Not at Copper Sky, thank you. And we're not talking high school seniors, we're talking seniors. I think that's why it says senior. So if you're interested in that, you can contact Brandy Hughes, and she will help you get registered for that. Then the second thing that, I don't even know how I missed that, but did you all hear Home Depot's coming? Yeah. If you want to know more, just go on Facebook, and there are currently like 500 comments on there, and you can figure out what everyone is saying. But for the most part, everyone's excited, so it's a big win for our city. So now that concludes, right? Concludes. That's right. Councilmember Wade said, now you know why we travel. We travel to make those connections with those types of entities. That concludes our report from the mayor and council, and that takes us to the city manager report, which I understand Micah will be coming forward and providing the information from the city manager's office.
Mayor and Council, want to give a quick update and a refresher on our Certificate of Necessity application. We talked about this during the Futures Planning Conference, so maybe some new information for folks out here in the audience, but a lot of stuff you've already heard before. Just to start off with the high-level focus on the CON, what it does for the community. This the projection we showed you on the few months ago has a positive return on investment in year 6, about $1.4 million, and a 10-year ROI around 18.7 to 18.9, depending on the funding mechanism of it. When we look at the net revenue projection, we see a positive return on revenue in year 4 of about $500,000 to $300,000 or $400,000 to $500,000, which is great for our city. You can do a lot with that. Most importantly, though, I want to focus on what this does for our community and kind of the reasons why staff put this together in the first place. When we look at what our calls and what we can do in terms of getting patients taken care of, we have on our Code 2 and Code 3 calls, our projections have about a 20-minute response on 90% of Code 2 calls and a 10-minute response on 90% of Code 3 calls. By comparison, AMR, who currently provides our ambulance services right now, has 30 minutes on 90% of emergency calls, so which is quite a big of a difference. One of the things we did this past, since talking together, we looked at and compared our transport numbers and how we're increasing and compared that to city growth and what it's doing. So in the last 5 years, we've seen a 26% increase in transport calls, 27% increase in medical calls, which is about a 7% year-over-year increase in transport and 11% year-over-year in EMS calls. And both of those outpace city growth. So we know how fast and how great the city is growing and doing everything all day to make it happen with you, Mayor and Council, and our city staff. But kind of see right now that the transport, our EMS calls, is actually outpacing that growth, which is why we're excited to continue to have these conversations with you, Mayor and Council, and to present this idea to you. So,
thank you, Micah. Yes, City Manager Horst.
If I could just add a few items, just so particularly our press fully understands, when he mentions that we will make some money, that money is what will pay for the next generation of ambulances and equipment. These ambulances have a shelf life of about 5 years. Technology, equipment changes, so it's money coming in so that we have the dollars to cash purchase the new ambulances and other systems. Of course, we will add additional ambulances and additional fire stations over the coming years. I think that's important to note. Also, the process could be anywhere from 1 to 2 years going through this. Obviously, there might be an entity who would rather not see us move this forward. And so it would be a process, and frankly, it could possibly be an expensive process, but at the end of the day, this is more about life safety and being able to take care of our citizens. And frankly, if I could just mention, Bill, sitting on the front row, brought this up about 9 months ago, a year, so we do listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both for that report. At this time, it'll move us to the call to the public. I do have 4 speaker cards this evening, so I'll ask you to come forward to speak when I call your name. Please ensure the green light on the mic is on, but I think it is. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak, and after those speaker cards are complete, I'll open it up to the floor for the rest of the public to come forward if you'd like. Let me read to you how this process actually works. The procedures to follow if you address council are: council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about a city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever they deem such an action is appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council, may ask staff to review a matter, or may may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matters during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. And I also want to note, I don't know if there are any folks, well, no, I don't have any speaker cards on that item, so I won't even go there. Okay, so let me call the first person forward. First person is Barry McCain.
Good evening, Mayor Smith, our council members, and staffs. Can you see me? Hear me?
Yep.
And staff. I just left the Capitol. I'm running down blue in my face, but I've been at the Capitol since 2006. So when you talk about talking to legislators, I keep telling people, if you want to talk to a legislator, meet them where the free food is at noon. And so I'd like to thank you did it just like Councilman Manfredi did, Councilman Bob. It's been touch and go, and thank you for being here. I'd like to also thank the police department and chief of police. Somebody decided to have a shootout by my house, and that wasn't too good, but they took care of it very quickly and decisively, and as a military man, I thank them so much for that. This whole session has been very difficult. My specialty is veterans, transportation, and water. We have a water meeting on Thursday at the Capitol. But without talking, we start shooting. And that's coming from a military man. I know this. So I'm glad that each one of you are talking. It's the most important part of democracy. Because right now, we've got people claiming they don't have anything to bring to the table. So we're struggling, and I'm talking with both House and the Senate all day long, it seems like, because I've got Democratic Party decided that they don't want to participate. Just say no. I lost a veterans bill on PTSD, TBI, 347 stopped. I knew as soon as it happened because it didn't make the second reading. But then I want to point out the geniusness of Mayor Smith. So now, even though they stopped it, we still have our Gila River friends that can help us with this, and we also got Tiger grants, and they start out in July. So we still got hope here. So if anybody in Maricopa thinks it stopped, no, they can't stop progress. And it's so important that each one of you are doing things. I haven't been in Washington, D.C. for 2 years, but I've been, as an activist and a lobbyist, I'm always doing something. And I appreciate each one that's doing this, but Maricopa is not a farm town. Maricopa is growing, and I thank everyone for having an input. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCain. Next, I'd like to call up Paul Shirk for the Historical Society. Okay. Looks like he sent a replacement. That's all right.
I know Paul couldn't be here, and
Okay.
I'm different. I'm not Paul.
Okay,
But
perfect.
There are a few of us here from the Historical Society on behalf of Paul. We are in works to celebrate this beautiful tapestry that makes Maricopa. Many cultures, we're diverse in numbers. Should we go this way? Okay. And here are a few, of people that are working. We're all working together to put together a beautiful Historical Society presentation on April 15th. And what we want to do is offer a free visual presentation of Maricopa Black icons in celebration of Black history. And the reason we're doing that is we want to share our culture with all of those that are in Maricopa. And from what I understand, that's going to be done for a couple of the different cultures within Maricopa. So you'll be able to come and view a visual presentation as well as look at some of the artwork, not artwork, but some of the pieces of our group, what we put together, historical pieces that we've put together for the group. So we're hoping that you'll show up April the 15th on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12. and it's at the Museum and Visitor Center located at 44240 West Maricopa, Casa Grande Highway. And the event will host a couple churches that will be out available to pass out their brochures, let you know that they're in the community. And there will be free live music, free snacks, and a walkthrough of the museum. So we're hoping to see you. We'd love to see you. Please come out. There may be a couple people. And part one, this is part one of the event that we are putting, this museum presentation that we're putting together. There will be a second part. That date is to be determined. We will keep you posted. Please look on the Facebook pages, and we're posted everywhere. Please come out. Did you want to say anything? Okay.
April 15th at what time?
Okay, pardon me?
April 15th at what time?
It's April 15th. It's 10 a.m. to 12. And it's, you know where the little, the silver, what is it called?
Zephyr.
The Zephyr, yeah. So it's right there where the Zephyr is. So please come into the Historical Society Museum. Just say hi to us, get some free snacks, get some coffee, meet your neighbors, and celebrate the rich tapestry that is Maricopa. Thank you.
Hey, thank you to you all. Next, I'd like to invite up Herb Graham.
Thank you, Miss Mayor. I like that sound, Miss Mayor, and the City Council. I filled out this thing because it's a call to the public. This magazine is called M Maricopa. It comes out once a month, and what it has in it, a restaurant inspection list. And I was really, I look forward to this kind of stuff because it's very positive. It's the summary of January 13th to February 13th, and it's called Food Inspection by not Maricopa, but Pinal County Environmental Health Services. What they have here is a list of all the eateries that are here in our city and around the area, and they give out a report as to what type of violations they've made. And it's very interesting to read some of our top eateries nationwide are on this list. And they call them out for things like not washing their hands, or the freezers are below the proper temperatures. And it's all the information that I think, you know, we've been kind of down for the last couple of years in terms of our socializing skills. So now I see that the restaurants are opening up a little more, so we have the opportunity to socialize a little bit more than we have been in the last couple of years. When the meeting started tonight, the microphones weren't working. I went to church Sunday morning and the power was off. So it's kind of like I maintain this idea of positive thinking. So I think we are a community of survivors, and the fact that we have a restaurant that, state-owned facilities that go around and check the restaurants to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the City Council, the mayor, and the people within the sound of my voice. Thank you.
That could be a lot of people, Mr. Graham. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. And lastly, in terms of speaker cards, I'd like to call up Patty Catray.
I'm way too short. Good evening, Mayor Smith and City Council. I am here tonight on behalf of the Boys and Girls Club of the Sun Corridor. We are very, very appreciative for the relationship that we have had with the city, and we're very excited to take over the summer camp programs. Registration has opened up. The information can be found on our website, and we're doing Santa Cruz Elementary for our summer camp, and we're taking registrations by email. But more information can be found on our website at let's see, www.bgcsuncorridor.org. The other reason I'm here is we recently had a little event over at Harrah's called Dancing for Our Stars.
Don't say it.
I'm sorry. Mayor Smith, I am so very sorry, but you're going to be sporting a Casa Grande jersey at one of the council meetings.
Make it a short one, city manager.
I'm sure Mayor McFarland will be reaching out to you shortly to discuss the details of this. We had an amazing event. Over 547 people attended. We brought in over $175,000, which will go towards our youth programs. Councilman Wade, your dedication to this event, all the hours you put in, we're very grateful for all of our dancers, but you left too early. So I wouldn't call it a consolation prize, but I do have something for you.
Just to get back at Mayor.
A step or two, Councilmember Wade.
So for anybody who did not see it or was not able to attend, if you go to dancingforOurStars.net, you can view the entire show in its entirety and watch Mr. Wade. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kadre. Would anyone else from the public like to speak to the city council? Please come forward. Yes. Just state your name. I know who you are, but some people don't.
My name is Helen Brown, and I apologize for being late, but I thought we started today. It's been so long since I've been here. Some years ago, a friend of mine asked me to come hear her sing, and I thought she was just singing, you know, but I didn't know it was going to be at the Chandler Performing Arts Center. And she was in a show, and all of the performers were 55 years and older. And I was just so surprised, and oh, it was such a good show. So I was thinking about you, people in Maricopa, because we're an island. We're here by ourselves. And then if we wanted to have a good time, we had to go to Chandler, Mesa, whatever. So I wanted them to come here. So during the intermission, I went down there where they were and asked if they would bring that show to Maricopa for our citizens in Maricopa. And they did. And so I did it for 3 years. But by the way, this show is put on by the councilman and mayor of Chandler. Get it? Okay. So, but I wanted the residents
Is looking at you, Councilmember Gill.
to see it. So I financed this myself, and I copied off of them, and I had it at the Maricopa High School auditorium. Okay. So this time I'm having it for Reverend Jim Schoaf, who has the Maricopa Food Pantry, and you know his place caught on fire. And Reverend Schultz feeds 1,700 of our residents here in Maricopa every other week, I think it is. So I'm putting on this fundraiser for him to raise money to help him. I think he needs $1 million. So whatever we can do to help, I would appreciate it. And so it's it's April 29th at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And let's show him how much we appreciate what he does for our city by coming and seeing this show. And the cost is $30. But the reason why the cost is $30 because it is a fundraiser, okay? So let's come out and support him for what he is doing for Maricopa. I'm nervous. April the 29th at 2 o'clock. And you will be receiving an email from me, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Where is this event and how do they get tickets?
Well, I have tickets, but there is a flyer going around, will be going around, that you can pay
Sure.
online.
Send it to us and
You
we'll,
can pay online, but I will deliver the tickets for you. My phone number is on this flyer and email address,
Okay.
and I will deliver the tickets to anyone that wants to come.
all right, if you send it to us, we can put a flyer on our individual Facebook pages.
Thank you. I sure will do it.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Can you buy
Thank you.
tickets at the door?
Yes.
Okay.
Tickets are still the same price, $30. Oh, I always spoke to you about it. You
Yes,
know
ma'am,
about
you
it.
did. At the
Okay.
Performing Arts
Yes.
Center at Maricopa High
Okay.
School.
Thank you.
And like I say, each of you will receive a nice little email from me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Would anyone else like to approach the podium? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the call to the public. And at this time, it'll take us to the consent agendas. This evening, we have consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.18. I have no speaker cards. Council members, do you have any questions, concerns, comments?
approve.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Councilmember Marsh, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Learman. Any further conversation? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much. That'll take us to the regular agenda. And we have, first off, excuse me just a second, agenda item 8.1. 8.1 is a public hearing, 2307.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
My apologies for not mentioning this earlier, but we have a number of items before we get to item 8.9.
Okay.
I might suggest that we bump 8.9 forward, as we
We
may have
certainly
people
can
for
do
that.
that.
And,
Yep. Yep. Although I was going to breeze through those, but no.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, we'll jump over to 8.9 then. Give me just a second.
That's the 8.9 first? Yeah, that's the marijuana thing. That's the
All right, agenda item 8.9 is ordinance 23-22, and we have a presentation from Rick Williams.
And Madam Mayor, we're going to have to take 8.8 and 8.9 because the resolution goes with the ordinance.
Thank you. We'll back
So
up to
We'll have to vote on the resolution first.
8.8. Okay. We'll back up to 8.8. And you're still doing the presentation, right?
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am,
All
I
right.
am.
Very good. Take it away.
Mayor Smith, council members, I do not actually have a presentation for this tonight, but I do have an update. And I would characterize it or speak to it in the manner that, subsequent to the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing on the 28th, there was additional conversation between staff and leadership in the city. And the result of that was an amended recommendation of the Planning Commission, original recommendation with an increase in the separation distance from qualifying facilities and schools from 500 feet to 1,500 feet, which we thought was appropriate in the sense that it is consistent with other aspects of our code, more specifically separation required with the liquor store. So that is the update that I have for that at this point. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have, and that concludes my presentation, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Rick. I have no speaker cards on this agenda item. Council members, what questions, concerns do you have? Nothing. Okay, I got a couple comments, questions. I did talk with our legal earlier today regarding allowing or not allowing children in the dispensaries.
Madam Mayor, I think it's not completely clear in the rules. Clearly, you can't sell to anyone under 21. So, I mean, if we were to look at a modification, it's not in the current one, but we might be able to come back and look at a modification that would order that only adults are allowed in, or I think we'd have to limit it to children who are accompanied by an adult. But I think we could limit it that way. I don't think we're going to be in violation of any of the state statutes. So I guess if you want to amend that now, we could do that.
Mayor, I'd recommend that you just make that an amendment to the current ordinance, that recognizing that we do have children who have prescriptions, medical prescriptions, so they would probably accompany a parent or a guardian. But there would be no youth in the facility otherwise. So if you'd just like to add that amendment to any motion you might consider later, I think we can accomplish that tonight.
Perfect. I certainly accept that change in that children can can come into the dispensary with a parent.
Or guardian.
Yes, our guardian. Thank you very much. Because I did read a lot of information regarding children being able to use these substances for things like cancer. And I wanted to make sure we accommodated that as well. Any questions on that element of it? You guys are okay with that modification?
So, Madam Mayor, just so I'm clear, we can make sure we're clear. Children without a marijuana card must be accompanied by an adult. Are you saying a minor with a medical marijuana?
No, I'm saying
Everybody has to
everyone
be-
under 18 needs to be accompanied by an adult.
Okay.
Are you guys fine with that, council? Okay. And then I wanted to bring up, because in our work session, we talked about loitering, and so our legal team was also able to answer that question in that ARS 13-2905 specifically talks about loitering provisions and gives us the capability to handle that if we see a loitering problem. So that was important to me as well. And I'm so glad we changed the 500 feet to the 1,500 feet. I've received a lot of feedback on that. So those are my comments, and if no one else has any additional comments, do I have a motion? So moved by Vice Mayor.
Would you
Oh, excuse me. This
motion as amended, please?
yes, you have to amend it.
So what we're going to do is take 8.8 first, declare it a public record as amended, and then take 8.9, the ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. Move to approve 8.98 with the changes of, as amended, with no minor shall be allowed to enter without the supervision of an adult. Is that enough?
Perfect. That's perfect.
Seconded by Councilmember Manfredi. Are there any further conversations, discussions, questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. That'll take us to 8.9, which is the ordinance for the same topic. And Rick, you don't have anything to add at this point. Okay, I have 0 speaker cards. Council, are there any questions, comments on this? Nope. Okay, do I have a motion? So moved by Councilmember Wade, seconded
Second.
by Councilmember Gettle. Any further discussion on 8.9? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries as well. Thank you all very much. And thanks to the public for providing us with some feedback in advance. That was really helpful. That'll take us back to 8.1. 8.1 is a public hearing, and we have a presentation by Derek Scheer.
Good evening, Mayor Smith, members of the council. My name is Derek Shearer. I'm a planner with the Planning Department. I'm here to present the next item on the agenda. This is PH 2307. This is where the mayor and the city council shall hear public comment regarding a request by the city of Maricopa on behalf of Maricopa Investments LLC to amend the general plan future land use map from medium density residential to employment on approximately 2.59 acres of land generally located at the southwest corner of West Honeycutt Avenue and North Maricopa Road within the City of Maricopa Incorporated limits, as described in case number GPA 23-01. I have a presentation that combines for the public hearing, the next item on the agenda, Resolution RES 23-15 and Ordinance ORD 23-19. Last week at the Planning Commission meeting, presented what we are, the city. We're doing a city-initiated rezone and a minor general plan amendment for the Maricopa Station area. The majority of the rezones requested were bundled together in the consent agenda. However, one property in the area at the southwest corner of North Maricopa Road and Honeycutt Avenue, on the west side of where Maricopa Road does its cul-de-sac dead end, the general plan did not agree with what the current zoning is or what we are proposing to rezone it for. And with the general plan amendment, it has to go to a public hearing in front of the council. So we had to pull that one out of consent, put it into the regular agenda to be presented, and I have a presentation just to illustrate what the city is doing. So the city of Maricopa, on behalf of several property owners in the area of the northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest corner of 347 and West Honeycutt Avenue, rezoning the area, cleaning up the patchwork zoning that we have currently there. The zoning is carryover zoning from Pinal County zoning. Right now, we're concentrating on the one property all the way to the left, sort of in the green GR area. That is, I can come up forward, right here, that we have this parcel, 510-29-001 Bravo. Currently, the site has a general plan amendment, future land use map of medium density residential. The city is proposing to rezone this property to general commercial. And in order to do so, it has to have a future land use map designation that can accommodate for the commercial. This is a leftover parcel from the subdivision to the west. It was always meant to be a commercial parcel on Maricopa Road on 347 when that was the original route for it. This was just sort of a leave-over piece. When the city did its future land use map, it was sort of a broad brush, and it pulled this parcel into the subdivision area when really it was along 347. It was always to be commercial. So we're proposing to amend it to employment for general future land use map category to be able to rezone it to general commercial. As you can see on the left-hand side, the current zoning, the parcel it's bisected by zoning. It has CB2, general commercial zone, and it has general rural zoning. This is cleaning up this map, and for a positive recommendation from staff and then also from the Planning Commission, the proposal has to meet certain criteria. The proposal meets objective B1 3.3, goal B1.4, and objective B1.46 of the city's general plan, conformance with the zoning ordinance. We've had the public outreach, neighborhood meeting notification letters were sent out, sign was posted on the site on February 24th, newspaper legal notice was published on February 25th, a neighborhood meeting was held on March 13th. There was approximately 14 people in attendance. No one was in opposition to any of the city-initiated rezone for the area or this general plan amendment with its rezone. They just had a lot of questions of what is going on in the area. And basically this rezone is just to clean up this area, get rid of this patchwork or legacy zoning from Pinal County, put it under City of Maricopa zoning. So developers and property owners, they just go to one ordinance. They look at the city zoning ordinance for all the rules and regulations governing their property for land use development, rather than the old zoning code and then some of the new zoning code. Last week on March 28th, I presented before the Planning and Zoning Commission. They recommended approval, unanimous approval, for case number GPA 23-01 and its accompanying rezone case, zone 23-01, and that is the recommendation that's forwarded to the council.
Thank you very much. As I mentioned, this is a public hearing. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. I have no speaker cards. Would anyone from the public like to come forward and speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council, are there any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a kind of question statement. What we're doing here is we're turning some of this property into different things like shopping center. Can you go back to the map?
Yeah, the map's great.
There you go, shopping center, commercial, multi-use. Is any of it being made high-density residential?
No, none of it's proposed for high-density residential.
And in fact, we're changing some of it from medium-density residential to commercial, correct?
This, you mean for the future land use map?
Yeah.
Just this one parcel. I know it's hard for everyone to see, but it's that parcel all the way to the west.
Yeah. So basically what we're doing here is making it available, making more and more space available for commercial development to happen in the city of Maricopa by doing this, correct?
Correct.
That was all I had.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, that moves us to agenda item 8.2, which is the resolution associated with the same topic. I have no speaker cards. Council, are there any questions, comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Move to approve by Councilmember Manfredi, seconded by, was it Henry? Councilmember Marsh. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This motion carries. That then takes us to agenda item 8.3, which is also linked to the same topic. And let's see. Council, do you have any questions, comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Councilmember Gatto. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Learman. Any further discussion on 8.3? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you,
That'll-
Madam Mayor, Council.
Thank you. That'll take us to agenda item 8.4, which is also a public hearing. And Rick, you have a presentation for us.
Oh, you blew it now.
It is the abandonment for 8.4 here. I wish I could sing or dance or something.
Councilmember Wade?
There we go.
Hey, Wade, you want to show us a few steps?
Do we have Henry's hat?
All righty. I think we have it here. Mayor Smith, council members, this is a request on behalf of Bruce Dunn, Paragon Hampton, Edison for abandoning portions of right-of-way along North Roosevelt Avenue and West Lexington Ave. The portion to be abandoned is approximately 9 feet on the west, on West Lexington Avenue and 30-foot portion of North Roosevelt Avenue. The abandoned portions of public rights-of-way will subsequently be required by the adjacent property owners with no compensation by the city. Just direct your attention to the exhibit there. Outlined in red are the portions of the right-of-way that are being abandoned by the city. As per city code, notification letters were to all local utilities were mailed. Public agencies were notified. The site was posted with signs, and of course, we're having council hearing this evening. As of the writing of this report and putting this presentation together tonight, ma'am, we've had no correspondence with respect to the abandonment this evening. Therefore, staff finds that the portions of the right-of-way that are part of this request, it is not part of our CIP budget. There is no project going on that would improve this. There are no future plans to improve the sections of the right-of-way. And more importantly, it's not serving any transportation purposes whatsoever at this time, nor will it in the future. That being said, we're recommending approval of the abandonment before you this evening, subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report. Mayor, that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rick.
Mayor?
As I mentioned, yes.
May I make a clarification? Can you go back to the slide, the exhibit? To be clear, the right-of-way that's being abandoned is not Lexington Road. That road will be there, it will be paved. The property to the north that's being developed, it's already put the curb and gutter in and will be done. I didn't want him walking away thinking we're eliminating that street.
Very good, thank
It's
you.
excess property.
Very good, thank you. As I mentioned, this is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing at this time. Do I have anyone, I have no speaker cards. Would anyone like to come forward to speak on this subject? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council, do you have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna actually make sure that people understood we're not closing Lexington Avenue there. It's staying open. My question, though, is it's a simple question that I just wanted answered. There's nothing under there, right? We don't have any water pipes, any electricity pipes in that right of way already that are going to have to be torn up in the future?
Mayor Smith, council members, that is absolutely correct. There is nothing under there. Had there been any easement or utility of that kind, they would have had to abandon that as well.
Thank you. Council, any additional questions, concerns? Very good. That moves us to agenda item 8.5, which is resolution 23-16. And we don't need a presentation. We just had one. It's on the same topic. I have no speaker cards. Council, are there any questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Councilmember Manfredi, was that?
Yeah.
Okay. And seconded by Councilmember Wade. Any further discussion on 8.5? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. So, Rick, we get to listen to you again on agenda 8.6, which is a public hearing as well.
Yes, ma'am. It was there. I love technology. Goes back this. Oh, that's the same. That's the same one, y'all. There we go. Mayor Smith, council members, this is a request by the city of Maricopa, by the community of Hope Church, to abandon a portion of North Hamilton Avenue, more specifically the 50-foot or the 55-foot wide portion of North Hamilton located south of the West Honeycutt Avenue. This public right-of-way will subsequently be acquired by the adjacent property owner of the church, and again, without any owner compensation. Directing your attention to the exhibit again, the portion to be abandoned is outlined in red. As you can see, it's adjacent to the church on the east side and school site on the west side. It is currently not being used as any transportation purposes with the exception of access to the church. Again, notification letters were mailed out to all utilities as well as public agencies. The site was posted on March 8th. And again, as of the preparation of the presentation for this meeting, we've had no public correspondence to date. And again, the portions of the right-of-way to be abandoned are not under any type of CIP future project or any adopted plan. There are no plans to improve or use the right-of-way in question in the future. And it's currently not serving any transportation purposes at all. That being said, we're recommending approval of the abandonment before you this evening, subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report. Mayor, that concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rick. This is a public hearing. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Would anyone like to come forward? I have no speaker cards on this agenda item tonight. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council, are there any questions or comments?
Mayor Smith, Councilmember Wade, that is correct. It's not providing any other access except to the church. Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. There is a well site there that it provides access to, and the access to that site will be maintained through the church.
Maintained by the church. So it's considered no value? Is that why we're looking at it abandonment?
As far as, or from a transportation standpoint, that is correct, sir. There is no value to that. It does not connect to anything. It's not connecting from any other site, and it is serving no other purpose except providing access to the well site and to the church itself.
So if the church, if we wanted to sell that to the church, then we would have to establish value.
No, sir. Under state law, if you abandon property, it goes to the adjacent property owners. There is no value consideration. And the right-of-way to the north and to the south was abandoned years ago, making up the developments that are on both sides of the road. But it's under the laws, when you abandon right-of-ways, they go to the adjacent property owners. It will go on the tax rolls, though, but it is a church, so they don't pay property taxes, so.
Councilmember Manfredi, did you have a question?
Yeah, my only question was, I was going to mention the well site, actually, because that's is that a global water well site? Or is it, right?
Yeah.
So, but Global Water will still have access to the well site through that road because Community Hope can't improve the road, it just stays a road.
Right.
Right, so they can't put a building on it. And then on the left side, if you're looking at the map up there, the left side, that gets overgrown tremendously. But whose is that?
You talking about the west side, Councilman?
Yeah, we clean it out, I think, once in a while, but,
That, I believe, belongs to the school district. We'll verify that, though.
okay. So the school district's responsible for cleaning that out. Cool, thank you.
Very good. Any additional questions, comments? All right, thank you very much. That moves us on to agenda item 8.7, which is resolution 23-17. Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
We got to approve it.
Oh, that was a public hearing.
Yeah, I have, Mayor, I have no additional information to share at this point.
Okay, perfect. So considering that, I have no speaker cards. Council, are there any questions or comments? Very good. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Councilmember Marsh, seconded by Manfredi. Any further discussion on 8.7? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. So that brings us to the end of our agenda. We're adjourned. Thank you very much for all being here.
Way to go, Rick. Way to bring us home.